I'll let you lead on that.
All right, got me. Channel, the SML Talk show is live now. Send it now. 90 people in 4 time zones.
We live?
We are live.
All right. Episode 3.
And Squirrel is saying, I hear y'all, by the way.
Thank you, Squirrel, for the verification.
Squirrel, we good? Can you send us one more note? Make sure we good? He said, I've been here since the beginning.
Snooping in on a sound check. All right.
He said wait a minute. He said we got an echo.
You might be too. Let me turn my headphones down. You might be loud on my headphones coming out.
Yeah, let me turn down some as well. He said Monk got an echo.
All right, what about now?
Should be better. How we sounding? Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. And I haven't got any feedback. He said we good. We good.
All right, let's run it.
I think we good. All right. I'm missing my intro music. You know, I wanted to come in with the intro music, but we had all these challenges, man.
Yeah, we're rookies at this thing, man. We're not experienced.
We'll get better because they were sending pictures of the Titanic sinking last week, but we got a good show for you tonight. I'm Franchise, and I'm glad to be with you again. The often imitated, never duplicated, felonious Monk. How you doing? How you doing this Tuesday night?
Oh man, I'm doing great. You know, it's kind of like a night off for me. I ain't got to look at no trades for about an hour. Doing pretty good.
It's been hectic. There's been a lot of activity on the boards, everybody asking questions. Let me just ask you before we jump into it, how are you feeling as commissioner? I mean, are you going to be signing more contracts to run the league in the future? Nobody ever talks to you about the state of the commissioner.
Man, look, right now, the first season is always good, man. It's right at that third or fourth season when you're like getting a little tired of the game and people are wearing on you that it gets kind of tough. So you're going to have to ask me that again, season 3. I mean, as of now, though, as long as I'm playing Madden, it's fun to do. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I got one more year in me. But who knows, man? Who knows?
All right. So today's show, we've got 3 or 4 areas we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about game result breakdown. We're going to kind of review some of the games this week, at least some of the games that we saw. That's another conversation. The second thing, we're going to talk about the trades. There was a lot of player movement. I mean, it was obtuse.
It would not be. It would not be the SML if it was not for a crap ton of trades. I think a lot of people like to play in this league for no other reason other than to just be a GM. They don't care if they win or lose. They just want to dump a whole team and see what it turns out.
We're going to talk a little bit that. You're 100% correct there. And then the owner shuffle. It seems like inevitably every week we've got some shuffling of owners. So we're going to definitely talk about that. Just before we start, I know you and I were talking offline. I had the pleasure of attending one of these Madden tournaments here in New Jersey.
Please share that with us because for those who don't know, we were hanging around on Saturday. I was over here cooking ribs for a Madden tournament that really didn't happen because we had some people that didn't show up 10 man. Anyway, so we were sitting here in the chat and we see that our boy Franchise is playing in a local tournament. Was it up in New York?
It was in Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is it near the George Washington Bridge. It's just over the bridge from New York City. And let me just tell everybody, and everybody, you know, they can assess my talent where they think it is. You know, I humbly, you know, say I'm average, but I think with some preparation, I think the elites in this league could definitely do this. One of the challenges was it was on Xbox, and as you know, we've been playing PS4 for a while, so
right.
So I didn't have my converter and my Cron or whatever you need to make the controller emulate a PS4. But that some Skimbo dude was up there, the guys that you see from like Madden 10 and Serious Mo and Evil Ken and even that dude Lights Out or Stiff, one of those dudes.
Dang.
And it was a really popular place to be. It started 3 hours late.
Of course.
It was very hot, but it was just fun to be in the scene and everybody sitting around in gamer chairs. The energy was cool. A lot of cats just, giving each other's pounds. Haven't seen you in a while. It's certainly something everybody should try to do.
So tell me this. I got questions.
Yeah.
Number one, you remember when the Madden Challenge was on TV? And these dudes are playing each other, and they would like make a big play, and they were getting all up in each other's faces and screaming and yelling. Was that type of stuff going on, or was that just for TV?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, see, if you can visualize it, the workstations were in a sort of against the wall, so you were facing it like you would face your TV in your house. Two guys were sitting next to each other. They weren't sitting on the other side because it's 30 workstations.
Right.
So you could see the cat calling your play. You're playing, so you got to flick the screen back really quick and make sure he didn't see what you were running, and then you set up your audibles before. You had to use team playbooks and 4-minute quarters. And it was at least 70, 80 guys. And so first round, it's single elimination. Once you lose, you out, or you can buy back in for another $45. It was $90 to enter. But yeah, there was some cats, mouthing, yeah, man, you ain't got nothing for me, man. You ain't got nothing. I mean, and then you hear a big roar in the corner, and everybody run over there to see what was going on in the screen. A lot of people using the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals.
I always expect to see Seattle in there. I mean, they got like pretty much everything you need for your average Madden player who thinks he's good. They got the mobile quarterback, they got the beast secondary. So the Cardinals too, though. Like I said, I mean, Matthew can win a game for you. So, well, that's cool, man. I am so glad that you got to experience that. So I don't know if everyone knows, but just let everybody know, like, number one, how you did, and then number two, what type of tactics you saw that were very common.
Oh, well, I lost my first game in overtime. I hit a 56-yard field goal, and to put it into overtime, I had to drive down about 25 seconds left against some dude named Tweezy. real cool cat, and then he got the ball in overtime, threw a bomb to some dude named Nelson, and I was playing with the Cardinals and beat Patrick Peterson over the top. I was like, ain't that something? That was like karma. And you had to use team playbooks. And I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but when you have a clutch kick, the angle changes. I don't know. Have you noticed that?
Man, I don't even think I've had a clutch kick in this Madden yet.
When you have a clutch, just everybody knows when you have to kick a clutch kick, they move the angle to the field level, so you can't even see the goalpost unless it's like you the kicker.
What?
So I got that angle. Yeah, I got
You're
that
like,
angle.
I didn't see that before.
I got lucky. I hit a 56-yarder, but lost, man. People, everybody thought I won the game. No, I lost in the first round. I didn't re-up. So
okay. For some reason, it was when our man Loco Schefter was reporting. He had showed that I believe he'd shown that you had won your first game like 35 to 22 or something like that. But
yeah, there was another dude up in there named Franchise. There was a Franchise EMB and there was a CMB, and we were.
Oh, y'all were.
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, I did see the EMB. I was like, dang, is this the Cash Money Brothers like that? I thought the Cash Money Brothers was for life.
Yeah, they confused him, man. But definitely something y'all all should experience. I don't want to take up too much time on that. But yeah.
Cool. Good deal, man. Good deal.
All right. Yeah, man. So you want to get into these games and talk about what we've learned?
I'm just going to pull up this league schedule, and we can just go down and share some comments on some of this stuff that happened over the past couple days in week one.
I'll tell you this, Monk. I would love to have been seeing some of these games.
You know,
I'm just saying.
I would.
Instead
It
of
would have
talking,
been.
you know.
It would be awesome if you could just go to the YouTube channel and be like, "Oh, all these people played. Let me look at all these
Yeah.
games and see what happened." You know, like it will be like the package pretty much. But we can't. You know, folks act like that. They're hiding crap, man. You know, I'm gonna say this and then we can go to the games. Before, you know, I was gonna play this little stupid game with everybody and decide that hey, if they're not twitching, I'm not twitching. But you know what? I don't care, man. I'm gonna twitch. I'm gonna twitch every game I play. And whoever, if people get stuff from it, they get stuff from it. If I lose games, because if I lose games. But I'm gonna be Colin Kaepernick, man. I'm gonna set an example out there, and I'm gonna twitch this damn game on my knee.
Colin Kaepernick is. I understand that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, getting to it. Panthers Broncos is the first game that comes up.
Yeah, that was a 20-10 thriller. I think that took
20 to
place
14.
late last night. Yep, 20-14 Carolina. I'm seeing a lot of rushing yardage on the Carolina side, only 20 for Denver. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, I can speak from a unique perspective because I played both of these guys in the preseason. And I lost to J-Mouse when I played him. I mean, I didn't pull out all the stops, but it became apparent from playing that game that number one, it is very difficult to run the ball against the Carolina Panthers. And number two, it is very difficult to run stuff where it takes a long time to develop downfield because their linemen shed blocks like nobody's business. So just looking at the stats here, number one, it looks like Denver had a difficult time running. You got C.J. Anderson here sitting on 3 carries for 12 yards, and then Booker with 3 carries for 8 yards. And Stewart ran for a lot against me too. They got a good offensive line. So, and when you got somebody who can run it on you like that and can stop you from running, I expect the turnovers to be in favor of the Panthers, which is the case in this game. 2 turnovers for the Broncos, none for the Panthers.
We just got a notification that you're still coming in with an echo. So let's take a quick look at our party settings just to make sure that we're
all right.
Getting an echo. Let me bring my see if we get everybody good there.
Yep, testing.
Testing 1, 2, 3. How do we sound out there? Testing.
How
1,
do we
2,
sound?
3.
Echo or no echo?
Let's see. We got any feedback yet? Nobody said anything yet.
Let's move it along.
All right, let's move it along.
So yeah, I mean, it just looks like the Panthers play good ball control. The Broncos had a difficult time.
They said better. Yeah.
Okay. Broncos had a difficult time running. So I mean that's exactly what happened to me when I finished the Panthers. I can feel it, and it is something that I'm not looking forward to playing again.
Yeah, they are in your division. We see Paxton Lynch had 2 turnovers, and
he's a rookie.
So we can expect that from him. And Cam had a decent day, right? A 131 rating, but he was 11 for 15.
Look, man.
So he didn't miss many passes.
He didn't. And you had to be on the lookout for those screens when you play the Panthers. It looks like Stewart had 42 yards on 2 catches. So, look, man, this Panthers team is gonna be tough, regardless. And they're built to run. They're built to play ball control football this year. So they're gonna be a tough out. But that result was surprising in a way, but not surprising in a way. Still early. We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Let's get to this next game.
Okay. Bills Ravens.
Ravens.
The Ravens is our new guy.
He is a new guy, and he's actually jumped right in. You know, he's been very active on the boards. You know, he jumped right into the Ravens. Made no real complaint about his team. He just said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" and then he comes in and he beats the Buffalo Bills, which is not an easy task. Not an easy task.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I like anybody who comes into the league and is active and doesn't shy away from talking in the chat. And I know the chat can be pretty obnoxious sometimes, but come on, just talk. Anyway, outside of that, yeah, I mean, traditionally the Bills owner KP is, he's not one of the most successful owners in the league, but he hovers right around 500 and sometimes above 500. So beating him is a good stiff test to come into the league. And it looks like, again. It looks like another balanced effort by the winning team, 218 yards passing, 126 rush yards. And then you got the Bills.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you know who Leche C Trunk is?
I don't know who any of these dudes. I don't know who any of these dudes are who've done stuff for the Ravens in this game. I don't know who Leche C Trunk is. I don't know who I saw somebody else's name and I was like, who the hell is that? Savage. Why is Savage playing? Why is Tom Savage playing quarterback? What happened to Joe Flacco? Did he get hurt?
These are some good questions. I don't think so.
He didn't throw a pass. He didn't throw a pass. I don't get it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it worked.
Tom Savage.
Tom Savage.
He did it. Leche C Trunk had 127 yards rushing.
Be on the lookout for Tom Savage. And Leche C Trunk.
Yeah. Yeah. And one more name, Trey McBride. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of Trey McBride. I had him on my team last Madden. He's a scrub, and I anticipate he's still a scrub. It's like this dude just said, I'm going to pick scrubs and just win. I mean, it's pretty much what it looks like. But hey, I mean, if it works. If it works. But yeah, so Ravens looking. I'm not either, man. I can't say anything. Dude won with those bums. So
now Sammy Watkins did have 7 catches for 163. So K Pizzle was trying to get him the ball.
Yeah, K Pizzle is usually known for running a conservative, quick passing offense. So to see him getting somebody that kind of yardage is encouraging. So we'll see what happens with that as the season goes on.
All right, Bears-Texans. Texans won this one 24-14 over the Chicago Bears.
King of D.C.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised. I was surprised that this game was that close. No disrespect to Dognick. I know he's played King many times, but I mean, just seeing King post the number of draft champion games he's played this Madden is obscene. It's obscene how many games he's played. So, I mean, just looking at the box score, well, he was up 17-0.
Yeah.
And then Chicago put up 14 in the fourth quarter. So, I don't know. I mean, it looks like, looking at the turnover margin.
Let me just say what you're thinking. Were you expecting more?
I mean, I expected King to put up 30, 40 points real easy. But, I mean, just looking at it, he played Mike Vick. Brock Osweiler threw one pass. Mike Vick was 16 for 24. And Jay Cutler had a perfect QB rating. How did this happen? I was a little confused about how we ended up where we're at.
I think 2 turnovers. I saw 2 turnovers.
2 turnovers from the Texans.
You're right. How did this happen? And again, if we had video, we could actually
break the game down. Yeah, so I mean,
we don't know. But
well, anyway, the Texans won. King pulled out some draft champions magic and won the game. Don't really know how that happened.
All right, next we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns, and this looks to be a lot of points scored here by the Eagles. Yeah.
My man clutching those Eagles, man.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh. So, the
is
Browns.
This something we should be afraid? I mean, should we be afraid? I mean, this was a lot of points.
It is a lot of points. I mean, the Browns had negative. And let's address the key point here before we even get into the points. Let's talk about the fact that the Browns are Smiles, who went to the Super Bowl how many times last Madden?
I can tell you personally, he went through me twice. So
okay, I know he was there at least twice. So, and he was in the
yeah,
NFC Championship game a third time at least. So, and it's 38-15.
yes.
Now, what I will say is, and we'll address this later on, is that immediately after this game, he went out and got a quarterback. So that probably has something to do with it. And he had
Yeah,
negative
we're gonna
12
talk
rushing
about
yards.
yeah, and 4 turnovers, right?
And RG3 had 4 picks and 325 yards, and Carson Wentz had 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. My man Carson Wentz. Did you see Carson Wentz out there on Sunday putting the ball right where it needed to be? Woo, man.
Yeah,
I'm a little upset that I didn't roll with these boys after watching him play.
Yeah, he looks to be the real deal in real life, and he looks like to be the real deal in Madden. 192 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 131 rating. I mean, can you say anything more? I don't think he got sacked.
Listen, man, there's a couple things that people need to understand about this game. One of those being, well, first of all, I do want to point out that Terrell Pryor did have 173 yards rushing, which is right in line with Charles Woodson predicting that he was going to have 1,800 yards in real life. I don't know where he got that from. It's craziness. But anyway, the other thing is that rookies, I don't know what Wentz's trait is, but if a rookie does really well in this game, they are going to get very good very fast. So,
Really?
I mean, starting with 4 TDs, like I've simmed it myself with Dak Prescott, who has normal trait, and he won Rookie of the Year and had well over 50,000 XP. So if he manages to win like Rookie of the Year, make the Pro Bowl, and win like one other award, like he's going to be very close to 90 after one season.
Carson Wentz, is that really?
Any of those rookies, like if you win awards as a rookie quarterback, you are going to improve a lot in one season. So keep your eye on this Carson Wentz guy, man. We might hear from him for a while.
Wow. All right, we're going to have to watch that because that was a great opening performance by the Eagles. All right, let's go to the next one, which was the
Vikings
Tennessee
and the Titans.
And the Vikings. Is this a surprise?
Yes. We've heard nothing out of Tennessee camp all preseason. Yeah. Not one word, except for a rumor about a trade, like when the rosters first dropped. I've not heard of anyone playing. Actually, I know Harvey played. The Titans and the Packers had a inter squad scrimmage. I remember that. But other than that, I've heard nothing out of Titans camp, and they come in here and they beat the Vikings, and they beat the brakes out the Vikings.
Yeah, they beat them pretty bad here, and I'm looking at the total yardage. I mean, it's just 9 yards rushing, and we know AP's no longer there, right? But
AP's gone.
Still there, right? Yeah.
Mariota outplayed Aaron Rodgers. DeMarco Murray ran the ball. Yeah, I didn't see this coming. DeMarco Murray had wait, look at this. DeMarco Murray had 9 catches for 221 yards and 3 TDs.
Catches.
That sounds like some screens.
Yeah, that's definitely heavy on the screens. 224 per catch. I mean, this is intense.
Screen alert when you're playing the Titans.
Yeah, definitely. This is intense. Yeah, and there was some. Again, we heard rumors that there was some type of fog on the field, that they couldn't see the perimeter or the side of the field because of the angles. This may have impacted the Vikings' ability to defend those wheel routes. That's what there's a report coming out of that game that was
gotcha.
what we. Yeah, so that might explain the 9 for 221.
That is not. Anyway, that is not what I expected to see. And whatever it was, screens or wheels, I need to get in the lab if somebody can do that with a running back.
Yeah, that's scary to me. So I need to go lab that particular HB wheel. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. The Cincinnati Bengals against the new owner, Ty 91, Jets.
Not a close
He didn't do
game,
as well.
but
Yeah,
I didn't expect a lot from Tide. I know a lot of you don't know about Coach Tide, but Coach Tide, as far as job experience goes, from my conversations with him, I believe the last head coaching gig he had was maybe a college gig 7, 8 years ago, and the Jets decided they were going to hire Coach Tide to lead them. And the one thing I can say is that, if you sit in an interview with Coach Tide for 5 minutes, you'll see that enthusiasm coming through, within 5 minutes. And that enthusiasm, I guess, got him a job. So we'll see.
It sure did.
Hopefully that will lead into a passionate owner who makes the right moves, and we see come up from the bottom to the top like we've seen so many times before. I'm happy to have him, but right now, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got some work to do in the AFC East, which is a tough division. You got Teneman, you got Peter Truth over there, and it's just, obviously Kate Pizza with the Bills. And Matt Forte, I see here 8 carries, 10 yards. Do you want to get him the ball more? I mean, is that something that you might want to build around him? I mean, how do you get this thing sparked?
You kind of have to, but at the same time, like if I had a player like Forte on my team, I would be looking at, you probably can't trade him at his age, but trying to find somebody behind him, especially if you're not if you're not expecting to be good, because all that experience, all those stats you're doing, and all that feed you're doing to Forte is not going to get you anything in the long run. He's going to fall off, and then you're going to be left with somebody behind him that you have to build up next year when you can start that process now. I mean, it looks like he got the 8 carries, he got 3 catches, but it looks like Coach Todd is going to have to. And it didn't look like he had any turnovers, so it looks like he's just going to have to figure out how to take advantage and make some big plays. I think he just played a bit too conservative in his first game.
Yeah, yep, and maybe we're discounting the power of RJ with the Bengals. Maybe that's something we need to look at. Maybe he's just saying, "Hey, I'm just that good." Maybe that's what we're missing here. Yeah,
it could be. So we will we'll figure it out.
All right, let's go to the next one. The Oakland Raiders versus the upstart New Orleans Saints. Now, I have to tell you, since I was actually at this game, that I was afraid of Cooks. I'm like, wow, man, this guy got a 96 speed. I got to watch out for this cat getting over the top. But he wasn't there. But he does have Deshaun Jackson and Cordell Patterson. And I'm like, wow, he still has some weapons on his team. And he's got Martin running the ball. And these are all factors. But as you can see, this game was not a big statistical, as some might say, I'm not the most entertaining coach, right? And this is exactly, it was an ugly win by the Raiders. Not much offense. There were 3 turnovers by New Orleans that did hurt them. Not much else to. I know you're laughing, but there's just not much else to offer here.
I got some stuff I can offer.
Okay. All right.
This is not cool, man. Like this is just one of the ugliest statistical games I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what happened here. I just really don't. But you were at the game, so.
We didn't stream. We're going to be streaming going forward. We had our one game protest Colin Kaepernick style. We definitely want to Twitch, and it's good for the league. So
I mean, it's just hard to tell. Like, I'm going to go into this more when we talk about trades, but the Saints traded away their most explosive option, one of the most explosive options in the league when they traded Brandon Cooks, and they got Doug Martin out of that deal, and Doug Martin had 29 total yards.
He did. He was maybe not utilized in the best way he could,
but hey, credit goes to the Raiders defense. Yeah. Credit goes to the Raiders. Credit goes to you. Credit goes to your coaching. Just know that there will be eyes on these Saints every week.
They're trouble. I'll say this: the defense is nothing. Even though you would think their defense is not rated high, he played some great defense. It was kept me off balance. A lot of different defenses that I hadn't really seen before, and he was
It looks like
following.
Latavius was pretty productive though.
He was. It was a pedestrian effort by Latavius, and it was, as you can see, the scoring took on a touchdown late in the fourth quarter. There wasn't it wasn't a touchdown until the fourth quarter, and as I said, a lot of work to be done on both sides. We humbly say that as the Raiders, yeah. So not
Moving
much else
on.
there.
Chargers Chiefs
Wow.
27-3. Ratchet over Booker T.
Yeah, this one looked like it was tough at the half, 14-3, and then 14 more points.
It's
13
gonna be
more by the.
it's gonna be an interesting stat to watch this season to see how many rushing yards people get against this Chiefs defense, because they've got some mountains on the defensive line with that trade for Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, he just got to figure out how to use him. I don't know if he's playing a 3-4, but he's probably want to play a 4-3 with those guys, right?
From what I've seen from Booker in the preseason, he's brought back that wide nine.
Ah, he's back, huh?
So, and I can tell you firsthand that the wide nine is not a bad defense on this game, especially when you got some defensive tackles that can shed. So it's gonna be interesting to see what people are doing. I mean, in this game, it looks like Melvin Gordon had 11 carries for 34 yards. So he had 2 TDs though, but 11 for 34 is not what you like. And Ratchet actually came into the chat talking about how he couldn't run. So I don't know if it's because of Booker or what.
Really? Yeah. So he was trying to run. It looks like it, right? Yeah. But it looks like he threw the ball pretty good.
Yeah, he spread it around. Spread it around a bit. Booker's throwing the old man Marcus Colston.
You know what? I looked at that pickup and I was like, wow, that's I didn't realize he was even out there. But he's a 6'4", big target. He's going to catch it every time you throw it at him, right?
Hey, man, he was out there making big plays. He had a 54-yard catch. He must have been wide open.
This is another game I would have liked to have seen, and we're going to have to kind of talk a little bit more about that. But this is definitely one of the games. You don't get to see a lot of owners play, and I would like to have seen Booker and the wide nine on the field.
Yes, we would have. But
right.
We're working on that.
This is another game. I mean, Seattle and Miami. I haven't even heard from the coach of Seattle on the boards. And he just popped in. Have you heard from him?
I have. He stays in touch with me behind the scenes. Files complaints with the league office about people's getting cut from his team and stuff. He was actually instead of preparing for opening weekend, he was actually at the was it the Tennessee? Who did Virginia Tech play this weekend? Was it Tennessee, Virginia Tech?
Tennessee, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at that game. He was caught on camera at that game. Instead of prepping for his game, but apparently he didn't need it because he just came to work and won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
he had a shutout going into the fourth, and 13 points. That was a big 20 points scored in that fourth quarter, but he pulled it out. A lot of turnovers in this game. I see 6 turnovers.
Well, you can't expect continuity on offense from the Dolphins or on defense from the Dolphins because they traded their whole roster away. Like, they don't have anyone on their roster who was originally on their roster except for Ryan Tannehill. He's out here throwing the dudes he probably just saw for the first time.
Yeah, I see J.J. Nelson is on the roster, and Jordan Cameron, who I think did he just leave today? I think he was traded today.
I can't keep up. I can't.
Niall Davis and
Chris Conley from the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah, it's a smorgasbord. Devontae Parker, he was
already there. AC Leonard was a free agent pickup. So I mean, these guys are. It's like a pick'em. The dude did a fantasy draft from the league.
Do you think if you don't have time to play with these guys and practice and put them in their right spots, can that really affect your progression as in the league? Do you really think that it hurts?
I don't know. I do know. I mean, I don't know if it has any effect on XP. I do know that I mean, just from personal experience, that this is very difficult to put in time with your actual roster on this game. So, I mean, these guys, like, I would be surprised if Coach Tim Man or Ryan Tannehill has any timing with any of these dudes he's playing with, because he can't have much time with them. So,
Is Nelson the go-to guy on this team? Is he
I
the
don't
guy?
know.
Is he like the man?
I don't know. I
J.J.
don't know.
Nelson.
I guess so.
5'10",
He
160.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be, because Parker
Yeah.
is still around. But, well, Parker had 2 catches for 118 yards and 2 TDs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you sort it by yards, it's clear he was Parker is at least his big play guy, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this Dolphins team develops.
Okay. Seahawks, Doug Baldwin. They look like they spread it out pretty evenly on their side. Tyler Lockett, Baldwin. Just
All you gotta do is Seattle, man. Play football, don't turn it over, or turn it over as little as possible, and that defense will
And
keep
you'll
you in
win.
games.
Yeah. All right. You're right. All right. We're gonna run through these last couple of games. We've got the. I'm chuckling because I actually think I got to see this one. This was one of the games that got televised in my neighborhood. The
Oh.
Patriots and the Cardinals. I don't know if you saw that one. Did you
I
see that
didn't.
game?
I didn't. I heard, but I was
Yeah.
not able to. It was not broadcast in my neighborhood.
Yeah, Peter Truth,
And the tape of
kudos
the
to
game
him.
was lost because I actually asked for it, and for somehow it was lost. So you'll have to
press
tell
the
me
hard
what you
buttons.
remember.
Well, here's what I saw. I saw Tom Brady and Carson Palmer going at it. I saw a lot of new faces on the Arizona Cardinals. They were actually behind. New England was behind in this game, and then David Johnson broke some like 52-yard run, and ever since then it was in Arizona's hands. And New England had a chance in the fourth quarter with the ball, but the Arizona defense stepped up. And I'm saying this is impressive because I don't know how much practice time the Cardinals actually had. I heard that they had, their stadium was just built like seconds before this game. I mean, is that true?
I heard they ran through the construction tape out onto the field. That's what I heard.
I mean, is that even possible on like a 24-inch or something? I mean,
listen, man, I respect Gabe as a coach. He is our defending champion, but we all know that this is a different ball game. But I told you guys, I mean, it may not have happened directly in this game, but that Cardinals team is good. Like, same thing I said with Seattle. They're going to win games just because they're the Cardinals, and they're a good team. But I mean, he didn't even have time to test to see if his turf was up to standard. He just ran out there and played the game and then came out with a W. Now, luckily, he's against one of our players who is just getting back into the game, so that may have played something into it. But it'll be interesting to see if he's able to win some games against people that have been putting significant time in.
This is true. 130 yards from David Johnson does make your life a lot easier. He did put the ball on the ground once, but that big 50-some-odd yarder, I think that's how long that run was. Yeah, 55-yarder was the difference.
Good deal.
All right.
What we got next?
All right, and I think our last game, we got 2 more here. Wow. Washington and Pittsburgh. That was the Monday night early game. Bahama and Squirrel. Did you see this one?
I did not. They played past my bedtime. They were on some type of weird time zone stuff. But,
I believe this game also was televised, right? I think it was televised.
I don't think it was because I have also requested tape of this game and have not gotten any tape, so it leads me to believe that it was not broadcast.
Very disappointing here, so we can't talk too much about it. I see a lot of yards.
Well, I played both of these guys a good amount. It looks like they both tried to run the ball a good amount, and unfortunately, Le'Veon Bell, I haven't seen 20 carries in this game, but he had 20 carries for 73 yards, and Keith Marshall had 16 for 162, 10 yards a carry. I find that a little bit surprising. I thought that Pitt's run defense would be pretty stout.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I think that's our highest run total this.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything higher than that.
Right?
I haven't seen anything higher than that. So, and then you got this Jeff Janis guy, 7 catches, 172 yards, and a TD.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, this. I don't know if we shouldn't be surprised when Bahama does this. I mean, this. I think when last week when he read the newspaper, are the vets trying to win? I think that was bulletin board material for him, and I think he wanted to come back here and show us that he's a force to be reckoned with. That's just my personal take there, Mo.
I'd like to see that, man. I would, and a lot of the stuff that I say is part true, obviously, but the other part of it is I'd like to see all these guys come out here, stop making excuses, give it their all, and if they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. Like that's the way it works, man. I don't want to hear I ain't trying when you lose.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
I'd like to see the old Bahama coming back. If that's what this means, but we won't know against Squirrel Bird because Squirrel Bird ain't done tinkering. We'll find out later on.
Yeah, he's still building his scheme. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what he's doing. He's probably out trying to trade Le'Veon Bell right now. So I don't know if he's building a scheme. I don't know, but I don't think this is the best that we will see of Squirrel Bird this Madden. So we'll see.
Well, he moved up to get him. So Le'Veon Bell 20 for 73. I'm sure he definitely was trying to run the ball there.
He's the ultimate trade chip. But yeah, giving him the ball is the right step. He's just got to figure out how to do it efficiently.
All right, and our last game that we actually was just about a couple of hours ago. I don't know if you saw Rams 49ers.
I did see the fourth quarter of this game.
And some people are shocked. I mean, should we be shocked?
I mean, I'm somewhat shocked because I've played lawns a bunch of times, and this is supposed to be showtime for him. This is supposed to be the girly coming out party, and he ain't really come out. He didn't come out for his own party.
Well, let's look at Todd. Todd had 10 carries for 36 yards. And he fumbled. I did fumble. I think he got it back. I did see that.
I did see that play. I saw that play.
Yeah, one of the tight ends grabbed that ball.
I have a theory.
This
is my theory.
Break it down.
So, well, number one, hats off to the 49ers guy. Nobody knew anything about him. He's been pretty quiet until recently, which is good. I mean, until him not being quiet anymore is good. The whole quiet part of it makes things kind of difficult. But I watched some of his game. He plays really smart from what I could tell. He sees his dump offs. He ran a good amount of drags, but the defense that he was playing against, that's what you're going to be given. So I thought he was efficient from what I saw, and he sealed the game, downed it, played a good game. But this is my theory. So Lawns, everybody knows that that the Rams held Gurley out for the preseason to try and work in Tavon Austin and do all this other stuff. And I think the one thing about that plan, everybody looked at it was like, that's a genius plan. The one thing about that plan is now he's got Gurley, and the question is, do you have a Gurley offense? Because I fully expected Gurley to come in there and get the ball 30 times, and have 200 total yards. And I'm sitting here looking, and this dude got 13 touches for 55 yards.
Yeah. Well, you raise a good point. So that's the question. Do you focus your offense around Todd? And was the game out of control so that you can say, oh, I was behind, so I had to pass?
He was up 7-0.
No. Right. He was up early.
9-7 at the half.
So are you blaming the offensive coordinator?
I'm thinking the offensive coordinator just thought that he was going to insert Todd Gurley in there, and it was automatic domination. And that's why he held him out. But now he's in there, and that team doesn't look like it's used to running the ball. It doesn't look like it's got good work in with running the ball.
Well, Dre Archer had 82 yards rushing, and he's a $170 wet. And so that is a surprise, but he had 8 carries for 72 yards, and I was waiting for him to fumble. I'm like, all these, monsters on the Rams, they're gonna hit this dude. He gonna fumble sooner or later, and it never happened. And I was like, just and again, maybe we're discounting the 49ers. I mean, is that possible?
Hey man, I don't know. I just know that this is not what was expected by the Rams.
Yeah, the line was. Yeah, we got to get a spread going because I would have definitely thought the spread was about 9.
Yeah, I know the Rams are favored. There's no way you could have told me that.
The Rams in preseason.
Yeah. So anyway, it's week 1 jitters. Week 1 jitters. Let's just chalk it up to that.
Yeah. Everything will change next week. Let's get into some of the trades that happened. There was a lot of activity, a lot of questionable moves. I don't want to go Stephen A. Smith here, but there were a lot of questionable moves. I don't know how we want to tackle these, but there were some trades that had me scratching my head. I don't know where do you want to start?
How about you just pick 2, and I'll pick 2. If your 2 are not the same as my 2. Well, we're definitely going to talk about this Brandon Cooks trade, but other than that, just pick out. I guess we could pick out one more other than that one because that one's going to take a little bit of talking. Let's pick out one more piece other than that one, and then we'll go from there.
All right, let's go to the. Oh my God, there's so many. Let's go to the Cardinals. The Cardinals traded away Deion Buchanan, Mike Lupati, and J.J. Nelson to get Landry Jones to the Dolphins. Now,
if we're going to talk about them, we might as well just go ahead and talk about like the totality of their deals.
Yeah,
because they also got Josh Norman in that trade.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, from the Cardinals' point of view, I could say, all right, I'm trying to build these corners, and I got 2 lockdown corners, in Peterson and Norman. So I could see that. I don't know if I'm the Redskins. I want to be trading away Norman when I got Des Bryant that I need to be dealing with. I got Beckham I got to deal with.
Yeah, well, see, let me tell you what I know from inside the Redskins camp, and that is that they have hired this trainer. He's like one of those Chip Kelly guys that makes you wear the wristbands, and this is how many, this is how much energy you have left on the day, and your muscle fatigue is at this level. And this guy seems to think that everybody, like at age 27, people start dying off. Like their production starts to dwindle, and at 27, 28 is the age you need to start getting rid of players. So this is their new philosophy, and Josh Norman, their recent signee, is the first casualty of this philosophy.
So he's getting old already.
He's too old for the Redskins, man. They don't deal with 28, 29-year-olds, dude. It's just not going to work. So that is what happened.
This is a great philosophy if we're playing 6 to 10 seasons. I mean, I think that you would, want to have that type of youth, and if we, somehow maybe we make it another 5 or 6 seasons. I don't know, but I think that approach would be better matched or better suited in a longer CFM. But we'll see.
We'll see how it works. But from the Cardinals' perspective, their team is going to be better. You're going to really have to think about where you're putting the ball with Josh Norman, Patrick Peterson, and Tyrann Mathieu, and even Tyvon Branch back there. Like, that secondary is ridiculous. But the thing to watch is, and I don't really have any way to do this because we haven't gotten team reports yet. How is this going to affect him financially? Like, what is their cap penalty going to be from trading away the whole team? Like, they've traded so many players. I don't know. And, we had a cap report done by one of our resident cap experts, Polo, who says he thinks the Cardinals have possibly, before the trade, had about $15 million in cap space. And we know what Josh Norman makes. So, I don't know what's going to happen, man, but you got to know your finances. So I hope it's not an issue, but we'll see.
Well, that is a part of this game, right? The ownership part of it. And going into that trade, we're showing they had 7 million. They've got a 7 million penalty right now. They've got about 10 million in free cap space, and they've already got a cap penalty of 12 million for 2017 already. That's a lot of money just broke. That's just tied up.
It is. So I mean,
and your quarterback, and Monk, your quarterback may retire at the end of this season.
I mean, the thing that really saves them out of this deal is that Washington is stuck with that big Josh Norman bonus, just looking at their salaries here. But even still, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Their quarterback retirement is probably going to save them a little bit of money. Right now, they seem to be not too bad in cap, but that $12 million penalty is going to make the bite them. And for some reason, I don't feel like they're done on this trade market either.
Well, the Redskins got a $21 million cap penalty for 2017. $21 million. That's a serious.
Well, a cap penalty is not really going to bother that team because he's not going to have anybody on anything but rookie contracts because he's going to cut all these young dudes. Kerrigan will be gone in a week. He'll be going in a week. Trent Williams will probably be going in another week. I think Reed will hang out, but a lot of these older guys are going to be going. I mean, goodness, Pierre Garçon's making $11 million. He'll come off the books, but yeah, he's not gonna. All these dudes, he'll have like 8 rookies, and all of them will be making less than $2 million a year. So half of his cap will be cap penalty, and the rest of it will be bargain deals and young players.
Yeah, that's true. And the second deal, I guess, that'll be my 2. I'll take those as my 2 right there. So tell me what what the F is going on trade was from last week.
So the trade that reverberated throughout the league office last week was this deal involving Brandon Cooks to the Bucks. So just so people can know the history of this trade, it began with Brandon Cooks for Charles Sims in a first, the backup running back of the Bucks in the first, and this immediately made red flags go over. Like, we've got these sirens in the league office, and when that trade came to the league office, the sirens were just like blaring all over the office. Like, you would think there was a fire, but it was just like nonsense. So, the league rejected that, and then they came back with this Doug Martin, a first, a free agent pick for Brandon Cooks and Mark Ingram, which is not a trade I would make. It's not a trade a lot of people would make, because, we're looking at it from a talent standpoint. Like, Doug Martin is a top 5 back on the game, but he's not like a substantial upgrade, I don't believe, over Ingram. Like, if you have a horrible running back and you get Doug Martin, that's one thing. But Ingram, he's better than Ingram. But looking at his age, being in that age range where he's not going to necessarily improve, he's just not that much better than Mark Ingram. I don't think that you can plug Doug Martin into an offense that already had Mark Ingram and you're going to rush like 400 or 500 more yards. But on top of that, you traded Brandon Cooks, who is the fastest player on the game, and he is the only player on the game who is that fast, who can actually play football. Like, he can catch. Like, he's got 80-something catch in traffic, like high 80 catch, like 84, 85 catch in traffic. So you got a unique player who's 22 years old with quick trait. And as I was just telling you guys about the quarterbacks, if this guy has a good season, he is going to ascend into one of the best wide receivers in the league. So when you're trading something like that, you got to make sure that you are getting something back like that. And what he got back was a slight improvement over his running back, a couple of dice rolls on some picks, and we'll see how it works out. But, what's more important here is both of these guys are longtime owners, and we don't want to be in the business of trying to restrict people from building their team so long as there's equal assets going in and out. But I mean, this is a trade that is going to make the Bucks a dangerous team with Mike Evans on one side and Cooks on the other side. And guess who has to play them twice? That would be me.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say these are things you need to have to worry about, and this is serious business. And Cecil Shorts, Evans, Vincent Jackson still on the roster. Yeah, a lot to handle there. What was the other deal? Did you have another one? Because I did have one more.
No, go ahead, please. Volunteer. I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah, there was so many. The one that kind of jumped up at me when I was drinking my morning coffee was the Aaron Rodgers deal. Now, arguably, he might be I don't know, is he like one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this game?
He's the best quarterback in the game.
He's the best quarterback. Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right. He's the best quarterback in the game.
Yes.
And when you pick the Packers, right, when you pick the Packers in the draft, you're like, I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with why you took the Packers, right?
When you pick the Packers in the game,
when
you pick the Packers in the game, you are saying, I am going to have the best quarterback on the game for the duration of this Madden. I'm not going to worry about
when I take the Packers, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm taking them. I'm not taking them because of Jordy Nelson. I'm not taking them because of the running back Lacey. I mean, now arguably you could. Now here's my whole thing with that trade. If you wanted Adrian Peterson, I'm going to go Stephen A. Smith here. If you wanted Adrian Peterson, you have a back. You have a back who's younger, 5'11", 234, with a truck. This guy got a truck of 88. Adrian's 93, and could do, in my mind, about the similar damage to what Adrian Peterson was going to do without giving up your quarterback. Why are you making this deal? Because some might say, well, I wanted to get Adrian Peterson, but you already got Eddie Lacy. Or is it the younger quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, is Teddy Bridgewater the next coming of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, talk to me.
Well, I mean,
talk to me.
Well, to piggyback on your point, and I didn't really think about it until you just broke it down like that. But to piggyback on your point, like when you picked the Packers, you had a really good pick, okay? And to hear Billy Harvey say why he made this trade, it is because Adrian Peterson fits his scheme a little better. Well, why do you pick a team that fits your scheme? You can pick a team with a running back that can play defense, that has a better defense than the Packers.
You could have picked the Minnesota Vikings. You could have picked the Vikings at that point. They were there. I don't get this.
I don't get it either, man.
Stephen A. Smith. I mean, I'm just I'm totally interpolated. I got to go Stephen A. here. I'm interpolated. I'm impertolated and extirpated. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I don't understand. But like you said, I mean, you hit it 100%. Like, you don't pick the Packers if you don't want Aaron Rodgers. You just don't. I mean, I've seen people do that. I've seen people do this with receivers. Like, every year you see Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones. Like, Julio Jones is not going to ever get traded from my team because the reason I picked the Falcons is because I wanted to beach with Julio Jones. But some people don't pick their teams based on that. So I don't know. I would be interested in talking to Billy Harvey about why he picked the Packers. Because if it's not Aaron Rodgers, I want to know why he picked the Packers. What reason was it if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, is he going to change that now? I mean, when I look at Aaron Rodgers, a 98 throw power. He's got the superstar trait already. Now, here's a case study. You might argue, he's 32. You're going to get 3 years out of Aaron minimum, guaranteed. Oh, yeah. He's not going in. 94 medium, 96 short, 95 on the run. Play action, Roland Wright Harvey, 95 with the play action. I mean, he needs a 97 overall. He's the best quarterback in the game, and then Adrian Peterson may retire next year.
I don't know what to say,
man.
There's no explanation for it. I said,
and I'm gonna go, Steve. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mug, but one more thing. It's in the division. You traded him to. You traded him in the division.
With your arch rival.
Send him to the yeah, you just, yes, exactly.
So now
you
look.
Just send him to the AFC North.
So this is what's going to happen, okay? This is what's so funny about this trade. So after Adrian Peterson retires or gets old enough that he's not good anymore, which is going to happen. Like, he's going to drop next year or some, and then he may retire the year after that. He may stay 2 years, but he's not going to be the same player. And Teddy Bridgewater, will be getting better. Meanwhile, Polo going to be sitting over there with the best quarterback on the game still. And Randall Cobb, who's 26, who's great. And this receiver who's 26 years old, just beasted with two dudes who are going to be beasts for all of Madden. Meanwhile, he's trying to make Bridgewater what he traded, and Peterson's gone.
Yeah, I forgot about Randall Cobb. the 92 speed Randall Cobb. I forgot about him because he gave him up too.
Now, mind you,
Jordy's also going to retire.
Now, mind you, about this little scheme comment, in the history of Billy Harvey coaching, I have never, ever seen Billy Harvey had anyone who is even remotely mentionable as a rushing leader. Like, we all know what he does with the ball. If he had traded Aaron Rodgers for Kobe Fleener, I'd be behind this trade 100% because he loves to throw to Kobe Fleener. But this dude doesn't run the ball like that, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've never known him to be a ground and pound guy, but we'll see.
Maybe it's different. Maybe he's just gonna run screens all day.
This is true. Maybe he'll show us. This is why we're the media. So we just got a request to show the Kansas City Chiefs cap situation along with the Miami Dolphins cap situation. There seems to be the Chiefs are looking. Oh, the Chiefs have 151 million in salaries right now and only 155 million cap. There's only a little bit of space there.
Ew.
Yeah, not a lot of room for the future there for the Chiefs. And the Dolphins got about 10 million in free space, even though with all those moves. But he's got a $32 million cap penalty coming in 2017. $32 million.
Who does? The Dolphins?
This is the Dolphins. Yeah, you can see the future, and they got $32 million tied up in penalties for 2017.
I'm glad I don't have that.
Yeah, this is the ownership part. This is kind of the part we don't talk about. We talk about.
And for those new owners out there who have not done this before, we don't babysit when it comes to financial stuff.
You're not going to go in there and change numbers, are you, Commissioner?
Yeah, no. We're not clearing cap penalties, none of that. Mm-hmm. And there have been instances before where people have run up against the cap and haven't even been able to sign like minimum salary people. So if that happens, you're gonna have to start cutting people so you can reach your roster minimums. Like there's no assistance with that. Nobody forced you guys to go out there and be all trade happy. So hopefully you had some cap gurus in there who did your math for you. Yeah. Anyway, we will see.
All right, with our last 5 minutes, we're going to jump into the favorite segment of the show, and that's to stir the pot. We've got a few. We only have about eight submissions, so it was normally we get about 10 to 15, but we got a small amount of requests. So let's jump right in. Stir the pot number 1. It says the best essays for the franchise player trades is clearly Teneman. He even had a team summary sheet, and that's what's up. We need more owners like him. Look at that. How about that? Stir the pot is not always negative, right? Stir the pot was a positive there.
Yeah, well, it's good to see positive sometimes in this league, man, because it's not a lot, but the essays that Tin Man submits along with his trades are exactly what I envisioned when we came up with the rule that you had to describe like what your team was doing with this trade. So I hats off to that. Tin Man has also served on one of our committees to approve trades, and his essays that he submits with those trade approvals are also very high quality work, I must say, in a different kind of way. So I'm glad to have Tin Man, man. Tin Man is one of my favorite additions to the SML.
Yes. Yes, he's been very active and one of the quality. I'll say this person, one of the quality owners in the league, and definitely we got to come up with a man of the owner of the year. You know how they do the Walter Payton Award? Maybe we need something like that for one of our owners.
We gotta get Tin Man on the show, man. Once we get our audio stuff all wrinkled out, he's gotta be our guy.
I'm with you, Muck. Number 2, stir the pot. Number 2 says, "Yo, money. I think the league could be better if we twitched, especially since there's no app or daddy league. My other league, it was you must or you got bumped. So we can stay involved for the long haul. Feel me? I'm relatively new, but I don't want to say anything to disrupt. Guys be yelling and screaming too much. Also, what is the 4th down rule? I'm confused. One more thing. What is the ruling on next season? Will I always have this team? I like the guys in the league. Are you sure this is anonymous?"
That's pretty funny.
There's a lot there.
Well, if it's like last year, you won't have your team, but just like anything, team selection for next year is up for debate. So we used to do, as you know, we used to have a priority thing where if you played through the first Madden, you kept your team for the next Madden. I'm not opposed to, considering something like that again, but it's really going to come down to what you guys vote on. With regards to Twitch, however, I am all for Twitch, and my initial reaction when everybody was shooting down, and just to be clear, the poll on Twitch was not you get paid a certain amount of money. It was, can we think of some way? It was, can we incentivize twitching? Period. That's all it was. And that got shot down. So now we're in a position where there is no mandatory twitching, and I'm trying to be nice. Like, I don't want it to be a situation where I'm like, you must twitch, because everybody has their little I lag when I twitch. I can't be twitching. So I don't want it to be a situation where it makes the game unplayable, but at the same time, people need to twitch. So at first I wasn't gonna twitch, but I changed my mind. It's more like this league to me. I've won enough. So I don't really care. I do want to win, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's a situation where, I want some exposure for the league. I want people to see games. So I'm just going to switch all my games, and if it results in me losing a couple more games, then, hey, it is what it is. But twitching is essential, I think, and I'm going to set the example.
Yeah, I'm with you, Commissioner. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon and one of the other question here, it says, what is the 4th down rule? Was one of the questions here in the
and this is important for the newer owner. So the 4th down rule is basic. We're trying to simulate some type of realism as to how teams actually play football in the NFL. And one of the main complaints you get from people who come to leagues is that I don't want to play all these kids online who are going for it on 4th and 10 in their own territory, whatever. So essentially, the rule only applies before you cross the 50-yard line. So if you're in your own territory, you must punt unless it is 4th and 1 or less. So if it's 4th and 2, you must punt. It's 4th and 3, you must punt. 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, you can go for it anytime you want. Once you cross the 50, you can go for it anytime you want. And with the punting rule, you must punt if you are winning in the second half, going all the way until through the rest of the game. If you're losing, you can go for it in the 4th quarter. Unless you're losing by 21 or more, you can go for it anytime, just because, at that point, you're kind of like in desperation mode. So as long as you're winning, you must punt under those rules throughout the game.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Next, Stir the Pot number 3 says, I feel this year anybody can win. Even Harvey, for real. But that fool went and traded Aaron Rodgers. Maybe not now. Well, they're definitely echoing some of the thoughts we just shared, and we're not going to beat up on the Packers owners right now, but
I wouldn't go as far as to say that any. I will say that I think the field of people that can win is much larger than it generally is. On past Maddens, I felt like you had maybe 3 or 4 people total who could win. On this Madden, I would not be surprised to see that number closer to 7 or 8. And just my experience in playing, I kind of feel like this game, it places a bigger emphasis on your team and how good your team is and playing to your team's strengths. So some of these guys out here with really good teams who are not traditionally considered the best players are going to have a good shot. Just take the Panthers Broncos games for an example. I mean, that is, no one expected that result. But those are the type of results you're going to see in some games when you're playing with these teams that have really good, solid offensive lines and strong defenses.
This is true. Yeah, that's a good point. And the playing field is more level, as some might say, and so we'll see if that holds true. Next, the next Stir the Pot says, why in God's green earth would you trade Cooks? 96 is the fastest player in Madden. Anybody know why?
There's no explaining it. I mean, we talked about this at length. I don't know why. I will never know why that player was traded. And to be honest with you, I don't think there is any. I can't. Shy of Doug Martin winning the MVP. I don't even know if Doug Martin's gonna have 1,000 yards, but shy of Doug Martin winning the MVP like this, I'm just saying the guy had what? I don't even remember. I don't know. But look, man, Cooks. Knowing what I know about passing on this game, I just would never trade Brandon Cooks.
There's maybe Drew Brees and they're going to show us differently over there in New Orleans. All right. Next, by week 6 or 8, guys will be tough to find. Just watch. Oh, I think that's when they feel some of the losing will come into play. Huh? Is that true? I don't know about that.
I kind of feel like first season people are sticking around. Like season 3, once people start losing, is when I think you have a hard time finding people. Because the thing about the first season is that it's not just about winning or losing. You got situations where people, are looking forward to the draft, the draft picks, free agency, and all that stuff. As it gets later on, it's like, okay, even if I draft somebody, I can't build them. And I also think that once people see how much you can improve people in the offseason in this game, that it's gonna create some excitement also. So I mean, I don't know. People do get a little ghost towards the end of the season, but I'm not overly concerned about that. Not in season 1.
All right, that's fair. That's a fair analysis. This next one, which is usually a PG-13 show, but we're gonna read it anyway. It says Kendrick ain't shit. I don't know why they felt that was necessary. And then the next one was Kendrick still ain't shit. So we don't know where the love is for Kendrick, but it's not here.
It's definitely not here. What I will say, man, and this is just something I've been thinking about that I haven't said. You guys are all grown, man. You can do whatever you want to do. It is what it is. But at the same time, man, like sometimes in the chat, and I think this may affect new users, it may affect sensitive users, it may affect people who aren't sensitive, but like it can be very off-putting, and I'm sure it is for him, and this may be one of the reasons why he's not playing, is what it is. It could be he's just soft, but I don't know. But every time he comes in the chat, 10 people are like, fuck you, Kendrick, or screw you, Kendrick, or whatever. So, I mean, I would not want to be in a chat where every time I come in there it is that. So, I mean, that may be part of it. And then you see, you've got new users who are in the league, and they think, a lot of them are my age, and they come in the chat and they see that kind of stuff, and it's just like, what are these dudes, 12? Like, it's just
I can understand it. Could be a human resource element, and
so I mean, it is what it is. It's a league. People have fun, but that shit gets old. I mean, there are users who like to call me names from time to time, and I don't take it personally or anything. But at the same time, just like, dude, really? Like, come on.
Yeah, it is a mature league. We do have I don't know what the average age is, but we do have a mature group numerically, right? So we'll
supposedly
we'll monitor we'll monitor that one closely. All right, our last two. It says I'm sorry, the last one. It says this is the last one. I'm sorry. It says, does Smiles only talk to Polo? He only made a trade with Polo, it seems. They boys? ? Conspiracy theory there.
There is homie love in this league. If you don't know what homie love is, homie love is exactly what they were just saying. Is that you see a guy who never comes on the board or rarely comes on the board, and then he's trading some dude that nobody knows was even on the block. Even available. And then going back to this Brandon Cooks trade, outside, I mean, we can talk about that Smiles trade too because they are boys, but outside of that, like with the Cooks trade, not only he was posted on the block, but Juice is not a very active player on the actual boards. He was posted on the block like in the beginning, but I didn't know he was available. I just must have missed it. But so the initial trade is posted, and then it started coming out that, oh, I can't believe he's trading Cooks for that. I would have offered him so much more. But, instead of hearing that, hey, Cooks can be cooked, you can get this for Cooks, you can get this for Cooks. I was joking that B-Mouse had this dude tied up in a basement somewhere and was like, you ain't leaving this basement until I get Brandon Cooks. No leaving until Cooks is mine. So they just came back with new deal and new deal and new deal until one of them got approved instead of, maybe, hey, this first deal didn't work out, but now I'm hearing that all these other people may have some stuff for Brandon Cooks. So, and that's the same thing with a player like Joe Hayden. Like, I mean, I can't force people to go talk to people, but at the same time, like, there are people, there's just people out there besides your boys. And that's what these trade rules are more and like, is we just want to see, there be some type of oversight on these homie love deals.
So the B Miles deal was fell into that category as well. Is that what
I mean, there was an affidavit submitted by one of our owners that they weren't in fact homies. He was just homies with his brother or something like that. But that's if you homies with my brother, you homies with me. So yeah, homie love to the fullest, with a little bit of kidnapping and false imprisonment going on.
Wow, that was all right. Well, these are things we're going to be watching real closely going into the future. I think that is our last of stirring the pot that we have. I think that's going to end up being our conclusion here for the show.
Well, it's always great.
If you had anything else you wanted to add?
I don't. I need to go get some work done, some Madden work done. Always good to be on this show with you, man. And next week we will have a little more insight into what's going on in this here crazy league we're in, buddy.
All right, we're hoping everybody twitches and get your Twitch accounts into the league. We're out of here for the MSL Chalk Talk, episode 3.
Peace out, gents.